Right. Yeah.
What's happening, Hot Wheelers? Joe Motor here. Been spending some of the summer going flea market hunting and finding some vintage stuff that I've been really excited about, and just haven't got a chance to show yet, so I thought I'd just show you a few of them today. I picked this one up online recently. I finally found one of these that I could afford, and been looking for this for a long time, and I think I'm going to do a sort of a vintage drag race video. I had a request to show some of the vintage drag racers that I have, so I may do a separate video and include this in it, but I just had to show this off. I put this on Instagram not too long ago, but this Vega Bomb is probably the most common of the Vega Bombs. The redline tires, the orange color, and then you have the Hong Kong base. So you can find these in a lot of different variations. In fact, there's one on eBay right now that seems to be a prototype that went for like 850 bucks. I'll try to show it if I put it up on the screen here. But you can find this one, and then there's the green one, which is a little bit more rare and much more expensive. There's a sort of red version, salmon version, the France version, the no tempo green version. There's a lot of different versions of this Vega Bomb, and they get more and more expensive. So I'm just glad to have this one. I'm a sucker for orange paint, and so I'm glad that this one is not the super rare version. Each one of these that you find too has different varying tampo issues. This one has a few flea bites on it as well, but I mean, they're kind of hard to find in good condition for a decent price. So I finally pulled the trigger on one and added a grail to my collection, because this was definitely one of my grails. So I'm really happy about this one, and it may show up in a few other videos down the road, but thought I would show it since it's a vintage piece that I picked up this summer. But I did go to a few flea markets and found some pieces. Let's see, let's start with this one here, which I just posted on my Instagram if you follow me on Instagram. This one here is the Mustang Mach 1 from the Hot Wheels Vintage Racing series, which I talk about all the time here on the Joe Motorhood channel. One of my favorite series from Hot Wheels, and still tracking down a few of these. Some of them I don't have and am not terribly interested in getting unless I find them loose and for a good price, but there's one or two that I'm really looking for, like the AJ Foyt Torino is one that I'm still trying to track down, and a couple of the yellow Mustangs I'm looking for. But this one here, certainly a nice looking dragster here that I didn't have and found it loose for a good price, so I picked it up. Ford drag team here, the Ed Jerry signature and the Ford logo, and the same blue on the stripes and the hood. Very nice matching color there. And then the sponsor badges are nice and clear on the tail. Very cool. Just the sponsor badges really are what make it, especially the more authentic it is, the more interested I am. And these big Goodyear fat meats on the back, man, you just can't beat that. Nice painted tail lights with the metal base. It's just a mean looking car. I used to not be really a Mustang guy, and generally I'm not, but the Mach 1 and the Boss, you show me one of those in good colors and good condition, and I'm looking at it and drooling a little bit. So this is definitely one of them. I love that Mach 1 rear end. Just makes it look a lot meaner and a lot faster for some reason, a lot more muscle to it or something. Look at that front end, nice chrome headlights with the blacked out grille, and all black interior. And then on the base you've got the all metal base, shiny metal base there. So really happy with this piece. I love finding the Vintage Racing Series loose so I don't have to crack them. I try to avoid cracking things that are getting more and more rare to find if I can, but sometimes it's just necessary to crack. But happy to have that one in the collection again, or for the first time, not again. Another piece I found is this one here. This is the Upfront 924 Turbo. Not a particularly rare casting, but one I was really interested in. I really love these old sort of vintage 80s graphics. It's one of the things I collect in addition to sort of drag racing or racing livery. But I really like the graphics on this. So this is one of those castings I probably won't collect every variation because there's a million different variations of this one, the Turbo 924, or the Upfront. I always forget. But this one is fantastic. Really enjoy this casting. It's got kind of a, I don't know, what would you call this? Looks kind of like a little Toyota Celica or something. But you guys tell me what you think this is. I'll probably look it up and see what it's based on. But it is a vintage casting. It's metal base. It's not very heavy considering it's a metal base. And then you have sort of these smoky windows, black interior. But I just love the graphics on this, and goes along with kind of a racing theme that I have going on in my collection. So there's that one. What else have I got here? Classic Hot Wheels vintage casting here, the Packin Pacer. I had this in my collection as a kid. This is just one of those you saw all in everybody's collections. At least when I grew up, somebody had a Packin Pacer, and mostly the orange one is, I feel like, is the most common one. It's the one I had anyway, and I usually had the most common castings. But there's a yellow and there's a white, and apparently there's a blue one, and several different variations of this casting. So I may track a few more of these down because I really love, again, the sort of vintage graphics on it. Has kind of a racing feel to it with the bigger tire in the back, and of course this incredible motor in the back, which just is really cool. With the yellow tinted windows, it gives it this really golden glow in there, which is really cool. Just one of those things that's very simple design but ends up being very interesting, kind of complex with the light and color there. So just a really unique casting that no one has ever really matched before is this Packin Pacer, and I really love the front end of this thing. It's just super cool. But at a time I was going to try to collect all the cars I remember from my childhood and realized that was going to be impossible. So I'm just now collecting what I like, and I happened to find this one loose, so I went ahead and picked it up because it was in pretty good condition. Hong Kong based, 1977, Packin Pacer. Very cool car, very common, but still one of my faves. And then I picked up this Real Rider. I am still trying to collect most of the Real Riders, slowly but surely, and found this Jeep. Jeeps are one of my favorites, especially from the Real Rider collection. It's got kind of a wonky front wheel here, but otherwise in pretty good condition. This is the variation with the little snake on the front, and yellow paint with the white hubs. Now these Real Riders, you can track them down, and some have gray hubs, some have white hubs. Sometimes the white hub's more rare than the gray, and sometimes vice versa. You just kind of have to look them up and study them if you're trying to track them down. But I just love finding them in pretty good condition and for decent money, and I'll pick them up. But really like the Real Riders, the original Real Riders, a lot. And show you the base, Jeep CJ7. Now I have a couple of other variations of this. I don't think this came in any other colors with the snake on it, but let me know if I'm mistaken. But I do have this white version that has the red interior and a black roll bar, white hubs also, and it's got kind of this flag design on it with the Jeep insignia there, and that one's pretty cool. That's a Malaysia base, and this one's a Malaysia base, so very similar castings there, just a different variation. And you can look these up to see which one was first. I don't really remember. And then I also have the brown one, which has got the red eagle on the front, or the hawk. Pretty sure that's an eagle. But with the tan interior, and this one's got gray hubs. And again, I don't think any one of these is particularly rare, but these Real Riders can be costly. Sometimes people are a little too proud of these, but they're fantastic castings, and I'll continue to collect them as long as I can find them. So really happy about those. But yeah, the yellow one is the one I found at the flea market recently. And then I came across this, see if I can remember which one it is. I think it's this one. And of course this is the super van, and again, I've been kind of slowing down on trucks and vans just because I've been concentrating a lot more on race cars and things like that. But who can resist a super van? I mean, these are just some of the coolest castings. The big broad side here on the vans just makes it easy to do some really killer graphics. And again, just talking about variations, there were so many variations of the super van, you could spend your life tracking them all down. Some of them are just impossible to find and incredibly expensive. Others are pretty common, like this one, the white with the flames. And I picked this up thinking, well, I'm not sure if I have this variation. I thought I had a black one, and for some reason I got home and realized, well, I already had the white one. So I was kind of bummed, but then I realized they look a little different. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but there's just a slight difference. This white seems a little more orange, a little more yellowy white. This one's a little cooler white, a little bluer white. So I thought, well, maybe there is a difference. If you look at the bases too, the metal seems just a tad bit different. And I thought, well, maybe that's just the wear and tear. But then, of course, duh, I looked underneath, and this is the base variation. One's Malaysia, one's Hong Kong. So that was kind of cool. I was kind of disappointed at first that I thought, I know you guys do this all the time too, is where you go out and you find something and you're like, oh man, do I have that? I think I do, or I'm not sure if I have that, and you don't want to miss the opportunity to get it because it's there. And so I went ahead and grabbed it, and then thought, oh man, my memory is tricking me and I already have this piece. But it was pretty cool to score the base variation. So sometimes you luck out in that regard. And in fact, I've got some vintage stock cars that the same thing happened with. I'll show you in the next video that I'm trying to put together. So some other variations that I wasn't sure existed. So I knew about this base variation, but just wasn't paying attention when I picked this piece up. So I just happened to luck out on the base variation on those two super vans. Anyway, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But I just wanted to show you some of these vintage pieces I picked up over the summer, and I've got a few more. They're all racing cars, so I'm going to show those in a separate video. And I'm looking forward to doing a display case update here pretty soon, as soon as I get some more pieces added to it, get it in tip-top shape for you guys before I show it off. But thanks for watching. You guys keep on motoring, and we'll see you next time.